Hey, Shamrocks fans, I'm here with Brandt Dubey in our very first alumni update. Dubey, thanks so much for joining. Brandt, I should probably be on a first name basis with you, but thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And how have you been? What have you been up to?
Great. Just playing in Dubuque now and absolutely been loving it. So nothing to complain about.
Yeah, it's great. Dubuque, obviously in the USHL, your first year there. Just talk to me about kind of getting drafted by them, what that process was like, and then going there from main camp and becoming a part of that organization. Like, what were the early moments like for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. The draft rolled around and I didn't really know what was going to happen. I had talking to some teams, but there wasn't a spot set in stone yet. And when Dubuque took me, I knew it was a great opportunity, great organization. And I talked to Evan Dixon, who's our head coach here, and was even more excited than I was before. So yeah, it's been great from the get go. The people here are unbelievable, and I couldn't be more grateful to have landed in a spot like this.
What is playing for Evan Dixon like? He was an assistant when I worked there. So what is playing with him as a head coach like? How would you describe his style as a coach? And do you feel like how does that kind of complement your game well?
Yeah, I think he coaches a lot on trust, which is he allows us to go out there and make plays while within our ability, and then he expects a lot like defensively, where we're not a one man show. It's guys all working together, but giving us the confidence to make plays and be difference makers every night. And I think that's the best way to describe him. You can tell right from the get go he cares genuinely about everyone, and that's a rare commodity nowadays. So it's a family feel, to be honest with you. So.
You go to Dubuque from Watertown. Obviously, you're traded to Watertown mid-season last year. Just how has your experiences in Watertown and with the Shamrocks helped kind of transition you into playing in the USHL and prepared you to make that jump?
Yeah, absolutely. Watertown was, a big stepping stone for me. And, I came in, I want to say it was November or late October, and kind of just hit the ground running a little bit where I had a coaching staff like Curls and Griff to, fill in the spots of my game that I didn't have filled in all the way. I think the biggest thing for me was just like learning how to play in all situations, whether that's kill, up a goal, 6-on-5, whatever situation it was. I thought my game really grew from there, and then started to snowball effect, and my confidence grew, and I was just kind of able to be the player I am. So it was huge for me.
And back to Dubuque, you guys are having another really good season. They've had a handful of years in a row now where they've been at or near the top of the Eastern Conference. They've been to a couple Clark Cups as well in the last 3 or 4 years. So, what has kind of jumping in right onto a contending team like that been like for you in your first year in the league?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like, I get, I have the most fun playing hockey in tight games, and um, every game matters, every point matters, and it's coming into a group where the leadership group is, set on a goal, and that's winning the Clark Cup. And every day is a grind and a battle, and we try to win every day. And that's kind of the biggest thing, where it's like not taking a day for granted, but using the Sunday off to go get treatment or get a lift in or shoot pucks or whatever it is. And that's kind of what our identity as a team is, and kind of our whole thought process going through every day. So.
For fans that might not know or understand kind of the leap and the difference between the North American League and the USHL, explain kind of what that difference is, and for you, what maybe the most noticeable differences are on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference is, other teams' ability to jump on mistakes. Right, you make a mistake and it's probably in the back of your net. And I think just like learning to, manage the clock and manage the puck in certain situations. It's not just you're up a goal and then you're in your D zone. You're not trying to make an extra play or an extra pass. Like, it's time to bear down there and live to fight another day. And that's kind of, I'd say, the biggest difference, where it's like, every play matters. It's not, take a period off and you're in a game. You're not going to be. And that's kind of the biggest thing I've noticed.
For you as an individual, how do you feel your game has grown this year and kind of you know, now advancing to the USHL, obviously you want to have success there. You want to win a Clark Cup. You want to be as successful as an individual as possible too. But what are kind of the next steps for you, especially along the lines of trying to find a college commitment and things like that? Do you feel like this jump has helped you continue down that path?
Absolutely. I think, obviously I want to play Division I hockey, and I think this was the next step that I needed to take in my career. And um, yeah, like it's been unbelievable this year. The staff here is, you know, every day has been, an opportunity to grow. And I think, that's huge where, every weekend, no matter good or bad, you're looking to grow from it and you're not ever satisfied. So I think that, that's a big piece of it, never becoming complacent where, you're missing a week of, where other people are getting better. So that's the biggest thing.
How much, looking back to Watertown and your kind of half a season, slightly longer than a half a season here, how much do you reflect back onto that as maybe part of what was necessary for you to be able to make that jump to the USHL and then as well as that college hockey aspect that we just talked about?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely loved my time in Watertown. Like, obviously, when I got there, it was, a little bit of a bumpy road. But I felt like, second half rolled around and we started learning to win games, like how to win games, right? And that was big. Became a team where, you know, it's like, all right, we kind of got to buckle down. These guys are hot. And I think that, that's obviously the huge part of hockey, like learning how to win. And I felt like, not just me, but as a team, like we did that. Like we learned how to win, figured out, how to manage the clock and how to manage the game and stuff like that. And I think that's a big piece to get out of, a year of hockey, like learning how to win. It's huge, right? So yeah, I'd say that's pretty important. And that's one thing I got from, Watertown being there.
Do you keep in touch with a lot of the guys from last year's team or guys that are still here in Watertown, or is life just so busy now with Dubuque?
No, I definitely keep in touch with a bunch of the guys. Cam Markham was actually out this way. I believe they were playing UD, and he was in between the benches during one of the games, and he sent me a video. So that was kind of funny. And I saw Ginger here as well when they were playing University of Dubuque. And I obviously keep in touch with Sharts and whatnot. And my billets, obviously, they were a big piece. Letting me live in their house, and they took me right in, talked to them all the time. Beth, Jason, Baylor, they're the best. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think the success that you guys had kind of that second half of last year has definitely bled over into this year's group. I think it's something, I don't know how often you check and see how Watertown's doing this year and things like that, but is that something that you take pride in, knowing that, in an inaugural season you were a big part of laying the foundation?
Absolutely, I absolutely do. It was super important to turn that bus around and keep it rolling, right? And I keep in touch with Sharts and stuff, and I'm always checking the scores or checking the Instagram to see how the boys are doing, and it's great to see, and hopefully, maybe not this year, but in the future it pays off and they win a Robbie. So, I mean, it's an unbelievable place to play, and um, I've told people that have asked me how Watertown is. It's like you take like people are going to want to play there. Like the fans are what they are. Like it's the best place to play in the Knoll, and people will want to play there. It's just how it is. They community takes care of its people, and just how it is. So.
Well, like you mentioned, hopefully a Robertson Cup. I'm sure tons of Watertown fans would certainly like to see that as well as Owen Chartier and the rest of the guys. So thanks so much,
Absolutely.
Brandt. I appreciate the time today and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.